Thank you so much for joining me today and being prepared to chat with me and let me know a little bit about yourself and your experiences with TEFL. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely no problem at all. I don't mind doing it.
Thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in TEFL and your travels? What have you done? Where have you been?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. I first got into TEFL in 2012 or 13, I think. I always had this desire to communicate, and I come from a city which is really big in the oil. And after doing a university course in PR and advertising, I decided that was not how I wanted to send my message or my light into the world. So I spent a while trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I decided that it was teaching English. So I went to Poland and I did my CELTA with the British Council in Krakow. And I took a job in China for uh, between 2 and 3 years. I came home, I went back, and then I moved to Spain. In the summers, I also work in a camp in England for 2 months to fill the gaps kind of between school years because it's something I just really enjoy doing, and I really love. Um, I love teaching. I love meeting people. I love developing, personally and professionally, and I just really enjoy what I do. I'm really passionate about it.
Brilliant. That's really great. We need as many passionate teachers as we can get.
100%. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head.
So, Sarah, I want to talk a little bit about your TEFL experience. So obviously it was quite a while ago. You've had a lot of experience, but do you feel back when you did your TEFL course, did it prepare you for the reality of teaching, and why or why not?
Yeah, I feel like it really did. I'd had like a small bit of experience. I moved to Shanghai like straight out of high school basically and worked in a bilingual school on language courses, and as well as that, I taught a little more informally. Um, but the course that I did, it was, I think, the right level of intensity to prepare me for the classroom experience because it's not easy. A lot of people seem to agree that teachers have a bit of a cakewalk, and it's not true whatsoever. So I think the intensity helped me to prepare. There was a lot of input, a lot of feedback, which was really valuable. And although it was quite a short course, it really, really helped me to gather a lot of knowledge quickly, to give me good resources, good people to talk to, networks in the industry as well, so that when we went out, we had, people to fall back on or get in touch with. And there was some classroom experience too. So they had like in the British Council there, they give classes. So we got real interaction. We got to see what students expect from our courses, what they want or what they would like in a classroom experience. And I think that helped me to prepare both, mentally and physically for the whole experience.
And the theoretical and the practical aspect as well. And that's I think it's a lot of people don't realize how stressful and what, well, not stressful, but it's not like an easy job that you do teaching. A lot of people think it's, oh, you just go and you spend a few hours playing. It's really not that. That's a lot of intensity behind that as well. And really takes people the passion to want to do it, because it can break people who are not really there for the right reasons.
Absolutely, yeah. And particularly when I was in China, but in other countries as well, people were kind of using the native speaker status as a way to kind of have a fun gap year. And I think a lot of those people were really unprepared. And um, you have other teachers who are kind of like, okay, it's my job. I get into the classroom, I get out. That's it. Um, I'm constantly worrying. I'm constantly not worrying, but I'm constantly aware of all of my students, their different needs, their different responses. Like you can stand in front of a class of 30 students and you're giving one lecture or one seminar or something like this. Teaching is not standing and talking to people. This is going to be received 30 different ways for 30 different needs and for 30 different people, 30 different humans, 30 different kids who receive and process information in very different ways that we have to be aware of. That's something I hadn't considered before I went into teaching. It's not how I teach, but how it's received, and how I have to kind of talk to different students in different ways. I have to mix up my the way I give the information, the way I show it. Some kids need to feel things. Some kids are kinetic learners. Some are more visual. Some need to write everything down and then write it again and write it again. Some people just need to listen and then produce it, and they're pretty easy. That's another thing that the course has really helped with, is how to speak to individual learners. You're not standing in front of a class telling a grammar point to just a class. It's very much more interweaved than that. And I think doing those courses and being able to go into the classroom feeling more confident that we're aware of each learner in different ways, and how we tailor our materials, how we plan around those different kids, that's something that I wouldn't ever have thought of before, and it's become one of the most important things, I think, in my day, and one of the most important things in teaching. That's just from my point of view.
No, it is, and I mean, every child has a different learning style, and if you are not producing material for each learning style, there are students who are going to fall behind, and that's just not okay when you're teaching.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. The most important things for me was learning that, like, the processes and the progresses that we see in the class environment are all going to be different. So it was really important for me. You have, again, a class, we had maybe 7 or 8 students in it, and I think being able to you give the same exam again to like 8 kids or eight students, and you get back very different results. And I think that people, again, think when you teach things and the people learn them, and then you give the exam, and then they all do pretty well, and then it's fine. But it's not like that at all. And I think that learning to deal with different progress levels, and again, when I look at results like that, and you see maybe 2 or 3 students who have really low results, I don't think, what's wrong with that student? I think, how can I give this information in a different way? Or how can I review it better? How can I revisit this in a different way that they're going to understand, that they're going to process a little bit better, that's going to speak to them more? So I think that not taking negative results as a negative is something that I learned during my course. And even me, because in some of my assessments, I was like, what am I doing wrong? Oh my goodness. In the one I did, you can only fail something once. If you fail it the second time, you're out, basically. And I was like, this has been too stressful for me to fail out in the 3rd or 4th week. So looking at my own style of learning as well, because my school experience was very far behind me at that point, and I kind of forgot what it was to be a student. So putting my own studying experiences into my teaching experiences too was really valuable.
Great. And I think that also goes to boils down a lot to knowing your students and spending the time to get to know them, and to know not just academically, but who they are, what drives them, what are they passionate about, and bringing that into the classroom as well.
Absolutely. And again, that's something that should be universal, but really isn't as well at this point. It's like, I think with younger learners, it's a little bit more pertinent, but if they're not interested in what you're saying, how do you expect them to engage? How do you expect them to listen? If I'm bored, I don't want to listen to somebody. I don't want to watch a TV show that I'm not interested in. I'm not going to sit there and spend 45 minutes, trying to process what I'm watching if it's something I'm not completely interested in. So it's just a fact. If you produce materials or grammar points in a way that interests your kids, like I've spent so much time making different, trying to squeeze passive and active voice into Avengers PowerPoints. And, you know, okay, well, we're doing personality and adjectives, and, you know, you have all of these textbooks out there. It's like, oh, you know, this is Tim's family. Tim's father is tall, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, no, we're not doing that because my 7-year-olds are not interested. Here's Harry Potter characters. Which ones are clever? Which ones are witty? Which ones are more outgoing? Which ones are easygoing? You know, which ones are problem solvers or critical thinkers? And putting those kind of adjectives in any kind of way into characters they care about or people that they know, things they want to express themselves about, because that's what we want our students to do. Essentially, we want them to be able to express themselves in English. So it's only right that we try to tailor things that they care about, because otherwise